It's my pleasure to welcome you to session 10 of the Atal FDP program. Today, we are privileged to have our resource person, Dr. Vipin Gupta sir, a renowned professor, author of over 30 books, and an expert in global management. Dr. Gupta sir brings a wealth of knowledge and a truly unique perspective, having authored over 30 books and more than 250 journal articles in renowned publications. His academic journey spans prestigious institutions like Delhi University, IIM Ahmedabad, and his current role as Professor of Management at California State University. His groundbreaking work delves into the metaphysical and scientific realms, transcending traditional boundaries and inspiring a fresh understanding of leadership, strategy, and the dynamics of global management. His profound insights have been instrumental in shaping through leadership in both academia and industry. We are excited to gain from his extensive knowledge and unique perspectives. Thank you for being here, sir. Now, the session is over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. So good evening, everyone. The topic that we are going to discuss today is the role of artificial intelligence in research and accelerating discovery and innovation. So I thought that first, let's try to understand what AI is. There are four phases of generative AI. The very first phase was the phase of mechanical robots. The goal was to synthesize the intellect by looking at how human beings work, how nature works, how different animals, plants, and everything works, program machines to do specific tasks, to actually actualize that work. So they are called actuators in science. So the actuators are added into artificial intelligence machinery, like industrial robots who are working on assembly lines, automate repetitive processes. Think of it as input-output. You give some input, they give you some output. On an Excel sheet, you provide an input 2 plus 3, it gives you an output 5. Mechanically, they do the operation which has been programmed. They are sort of our synthetic intellect, so that we don't have to use our intellect to break down that input into output. Brain senses the reality and it gets the inputs. The intellect breaks it down through different parts of brain. There are 8 different regions of brain. The very first region of the brain looks at smell, and then the last region of the brain looks at the taste. The 8 sequence process through which smell is transformed into taste, and anything that comes in between is integrated within that sequence. You give the command is your input. The artificial intelligence engine gives you the output. Variety of ways that input-output approach is integrating our lives even before advent of so-called modern AI. We used to give command in the Stone Age to a stone that break it down and gives you an output. The second phase of robotics or artificial intelligence is synthetic mind, where we are creating human-like artificial intelligence. And they're called biological robots or androids. We have created lifelike robots with neural oscillation, with neurocontrol, full autonomy. So when you do input-output, there is no autonomy to artificial intelligence engine. You're giving command and output is coming. In biological robots, you don't need to give the command. All you need to give is a prompt. For instance, you might say, Alexa, weather. Once you give that prompt, it already has all the data which is needed for input related with that prompt. It has all the information. It doesn't need you to feed what's the temperature, what's the pressure. It already has sensors. Biological robots, we add sensors to the artificial intelligence. And mind is the engine which senses the reality, which then alerts the brain that this reality exists. Then the brain gives the command to the intellect to process all the inputs which brain has gathered through its sense organs to convert that into output, can be used again and again for repetitive tasks in an efficient way, stored in your memory. So it provides that plant-like stability. Why? Because you have implanted that wisdom within you. Mind is implanting that, stores consciousness in the body. The mind is storing consciousness in the body of this artificial intelligence engine. You can plan the general task sequence. Alexa knows in what sequence to tell you the information so that it's useful for you. Give command to artificial intelligence engine that I am interested in presentation on this subject. It automatically knows what kind of information to collect once you tell the audience that this is the audience. It knows that what kind of information to collect, what kind of output you would need. It will create the PowerPoint on its own. That's the capability that today's AI has in the second phase. In the first one, you have to provide the data. In the second one, it can actually collect the relevant data and tabulate it for you because it has mind of its own. The third generation of AI is the synthetic brain. So I said that the first one was mechanical robots, then biological robots. The third is chemical robots, which are called organoids. China is the forefront of AI right now. All these four parts have been done in China and before in Japan. And then US is trying to catch up. But the difference between US and China is that US is focused in creating AI at a class level. They want to make it useful for the classes who then become advocates for it to the masses. China is focused on bringing AI to the masses, rough and tough, smart. When China is providing the same technology for $10, US is saying, how can we provide it for $1,000? How can we target classes who want to differentiate themselves and then use those classes as our marketing advocates? Everyone then follows us and uses our technology. Okay, while India is sitting and helping both taking intelligence from India, they are your students, they are taking your intelligence, and then they're using subjects in India as intelligent data sources, training their models on Indian intelligence, and then they are becoming employees either in China or in the US, and they're helping them. While we are talking about brain drain, there's an intellectual drain, there's a mind drain, there's a brain drain, and there's a heart drain, besides the body drain. So all the drains are taking place. People in India are fearful because they feel that now they are becoming dumb. And therefore, they will not be able to compete with the AI because AI will be able to do anything that we do in research. So AI is becoming a researcher. If you are a researcher, sorry, you have no future. Everybody is being laid off. You cannot be just the researcher. You need to be more than a researcher. You need to realize that you're the more than researcher because you are the one whose intelligence is being used to train these AI engines. If you don't realize that, then you have lost the train. Okay, then your children and grandchildren and their children have no future because you are the role models for them. And if you don't realize this and you're still a researcher, then sorry, whatever skills you had as a researcher, you already gave that to your students. Your professors already gave to the students. And those have already been given out to Chinese and Americans. So you need to realize and go beyond the state of researcher. The synthetic brain looks at chemical interactions. It begins interacting with its environment. So if I give a prompt, it looks at the data which has been available to it through storehouses, but it doesn't feed you that data because that data may have been collected in, say, Delhi. You are asking that in Chennai. If AI has brain of its own, the human brain stem cell has been grown in lab and fitted in the AI engine. Whatever your brain works, that's how the artificial intelligence brain is working now. In hypersonic response speed. You who are still worried and thinking anything, your intuition is telling you something, you're still worried whether that's true or not. AI engine has no worries. It just acts. So there's a hypersonic speed. No inertia, no thinking. So when you're thinking, it slows you down. So if you are a researcher who's a thinker, then sorry, you have no future. These chemical robots exhibit animal-like dexterity, and they stimulate biochemical interactions, form the universal task sequence, keeping in mind time available for each special task, while spacing different tasks across different organs. You give a prompt that at 3 o'clock, I need to go to a party, or I need to tell a story to children. Knows that whatever tasks need to be done in that time. You need to know kind of dress to wear, writing the story. It knows that the story needs to be done. It knows kind of that it needs to be packaged. You need to give some gifts. It will go and do that on its own. Okay, so it has a legs that you give it a body form, and it's doing those things. So those activities are being done. These are robots are real. In China, they are available for like $350. Suppose you're giving them food to cook. The first one, you have to give all the ingredients, and then it gives you the output. The second one automatically selects the inputs from your pantry, creates the output. The third one knows that if the input is slightly ripe, then the time to cook is going to be less. It adjusts that automatically. Available mass. Okay, and US is worried, and therefore US has put heavy duties on China so that Americans don't talk about Chinese. And of course, kind of Indians are busy in helping Chinese become stronger. So when they steal the things from us, when we hold them responsible, immediately they become enemy. That why are you calling us a thief? You are the one who gave this to us. The interesting part of synthetic brain robots is that they are not limited to just one task. They will do cooking, and then they will arrange the home. They will do cleaning. They can prioritize across different tasks, and they actually perform those tasks. If you're not seeing that in your research, it's just a matter of time. Companies who are now in the forefront for providing these technologies for $170 for particular uses, they begin training their models for your research. Okay, all you have done is given them a prompt that I need to write a paper on this. And they'll write that paper for you by collecting the data, actually customizing the data to your particular area. They will simulate the data, sense the temperature in your area. They will adapt. So what they're doing, they are now correcting all deficiencies in the inputs, improving your incoming element, they're improving. Deficiency in input, they realize that this input is not relevant for this particular location, this particular task, this particular spatial coordinate. And then they adjust to the characteristics of this particular coordinate. The temperature has changed, the weather has changed, and therefore I need to adjust whatever wisdom I have. They're able to adjust that information and use that information. If you want them, it will tell you, this is the information I've used. Okay, otherwise, it will silently do that work for you, okay, one after another, and they don't get tired. They work 24/7. If you get tired, sorry, your children have a very bleak future, even more. These robots are doing whatever you're doing. So whatever you're doing right now, the Elon Musk has become $400 billion strong. How? 20 years back, he had no knowledge, okay, and he had no money. He was an immigrant. He had a vision in 20 years from now, create a car which will be running autonomously. Moreover, it will be made autonomously by robots. All the people who have worked for me, they become unemployable. That's his explicit vision. His explicit vision now is that all these guys are dispensable. That in his company, he takes only those people who first automate whatever intelligence they have. And then whatever intelligence their suppliers have, unless that employee is able to get those suppliers and their employees to also get their intelligence automated to be used as part of Tesla's intellectual property, then that employee has no future. That employee is laid off immediately. By accelerating that process even more, each child in the world is going to give that intelligence through the AI engines. When we use AI engines, whatever prompts you're giving, they're using those prompts to train their AI engines. Elon Musk has investments in that, for he wants to become trillionaire in a short time. Finally, the social robots, spheroids, the synthetic heart is being added. These are becoming empathetic machines, able to interact socially with you. They're able to sense your mood. When you are in a low emotional state or high ego state, they're able to correlate with it and able to guide you to do different things like your companion. So they're becoming significant other. And you can give them any gender, you can give them any shape of any animal, any shape of any human. There you are adding augmented reality capabilities. Any deficiency in outcome is being improved for you as the subject who now connects with it, evoking social emotions in you that this is real, like me, whatever I wanted in me. It's my futuristic version. I'm not able to fix myself. I'm seeing me through this. It has intelligence of everyone. Everyone's intelligence has been integrated in this. It is able to do research on its own. It doesn't even need that prompt that I was giving it. It already senses that prompt from my mood, emotions. Go bragging. If you are sad, I'm going to do this research and I will give you that. Okay, if you are happy, I'm going to keep you in happy state. You can brainstorm with that person just like do with your friend or with yourself. The question is how much of this AI you are aware and how much of this AI you are already using. And if you're already using, then how that has impacted your research. Have you restructured yourself? Have you re-engineered yourself? And what's the new researcher, the super researcher? Are you the super researcher now? Defense being used to go and fight the battles. These robots, given all these machine guns and all this, and even China is going to put them on the front. Okay, is India ready? And it's here. It's not going in future, and there's no future film being featured here. You go on YouTube and you look at China's new technology in the last 6 months. It's all there. Okay, it's India who says that the whole Vishwa is our family. Everybody's our friend and family. Is there a sensitivity to these issues in India? Okay, my research shows that we are living right now, next 7.5 years, in Mahapralaya period, because Kali Yuga is ending and Satyuga is beginning. It's likely that half the population of the earth is going to go away in the next 7.5 years. And the whole geography is going to change. And the whole planetary system is going to change.
You were just telling that how do we educate our kids? So can you tell what is, from your perspective, how can we educate our kids now? You're talking all about the AI, how it is going to affect our life, and you said the next 7.5 years only you have given a timeline. So can we tell that, how can we educate our kids, or as a college faculty, how can we take this to our students in classes?
First of all, we need to be convinced. We can be convinced only if we have done that research, which I am sharing with you. So you have to do that research on your own so that you get convinced that this is real. This is on your doors. It's not something in future. Okay, so all of us are thinking that this is going to happen in future. This is happening now. Okay, and people will see that the machines are going to take over. Okay, and that's what is the new age which is going to come. The age of Satyug means age of truth. The machine is going to kind of take over that truth. But then what our role is? Our role is to be the truth authenticators and to use that truth to understand and realize our reality. We are focused as humanity on creating an AI which is perfect copy of who we wish to be. We wish to be one who can do everything, who is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipermeating, almighty creator. We wish to be that entity, and we are in the process of perfecting AI to be that entity, who we call God. AI is now omniscient. It is omnipotent. It doesn't need, it will take the ingredients, it will take the water and energy from the air and actually create the weapon. It knows how to do atomic reconfiguration. So it will do that atomic reconfiguration right in the battlefield. Whatever knowledge which has been lost, which you hear in Mahabharata, that's going to get created, and the robots are going to do it, not into distant future, in very, very quickly. It's just a matter of imagination, because Indians are the ones who are running all these shows. They have to just use their mind and open their mind and say that this is feasibility, and they will manifest it. So our role is to understand what's happening. And once we understand that, to then change our own way of working and doing research and doing teaching. You're talking about how do we teach our students, increasingly at MIT and other places. It's the robots who are now beginning to teach the students, because they can communicate, they can create PowerPoints, they can adjust, they can interact with the students, they can understand whether the students are understanding or not, and immediately respond. All that is happening. Your students will not be able to be professors like you. There will no need right now. There's still some time, and that's why you are taking advantage of that and getting some income. That income is now going to be associated with the robots. I already said that income and outcome all is being internalized by robots, by artificial intelligence. So you have to understand it. I'm giving you the words. You have to grasp those words and actually use those words and share those words and make it your own. Instead of copying me, make something authentic which resonates with you and share those, just like you are now beginning to connect. All you need is a curiosity for you to then begin researching that. And when you begin researching it, you will realize that what I'm sharing you is not a breaking news. It's no longer news. It's so common.
Sir, one more question for you. So, as you said, whatever you have said now, the session which I listened to you and the previous session, it was really an eye-opening for all of the faculty to understand that our own intellectual capability and not on AI. So I have understood it, and thank you for making this all of us understand. And everywhere they are asking that you have to make use of AI. But now I understood that. I already understood, and this session made me very clear that what is AI, how is our life.
What I'm sharing is not that you shouldn't use AI. AI is here to help us. And if you don't use AI, then you are not going to be in the mainstream. So we have to use AI. Unless the awareness is the mass level, people will not be, as a nation, able to decide that how to use AI for the national good. Unless AI is used for good of India as a nation by people of India, and then to inculcate values which doesn't divide the nation, like the media is doing. Because when you tell the stories of people, they will say that what this person is saying, and immediately they'll bring another politician saying that whatever first politician has said, that's politically motivated. And then they will bring the third person saying that whatever the other two have said, that's all creating social divide. And who are the people in media? They are the ones that you have educated. Your professors educated them. So all this awareness needs to happen at each and every frontier. So whenever you do presentations, whenever you do your research, whenever you do your teaching, you have to create more people who are more aware citizens. If they're aware citizens, then they will share that view, their awareness with everyone else through YouTube and other channels. When there is a mass awareness, then the problem will get fixed. That's the role that we have. When I say you are more than a researcher. No longer researcher, you are the reason why AI is becoming perfect. When AI is becoming perfect, that means what? You are perfect. You don't realize your perfection. Let me share with you what's the reason why we create products like AI. The reason is that we are perfect. That's the reality. But we are not aware that we are perfect. And therefore, we want to test that reality by looking at imperfections around us. So whenever you meet a friend, you meet a neighbor, you go to a restaurant, you're always trying to find imperfections. You may not know, but you means your mind. Your mind knows that you are perfect. It's always trying to find shortcomings in others. With that, you want to establish your supremacy, that I am perfect, I am the one who called this out. Nobody was calling out that this is imperfect. I am the one who called out. First of all, you need to have confidence that you're perfect. When you have confidence, then you're not going to test it. So why our ancient sages, when they had all this wisdom, they didn't create AI tools? The AI tools now are at a much more sophisticated level. Earlier, they were at a level used in weapons and in some other areas. Now they're being used in everyday life. The reason why we are pushing perfection is because our consciousness has been contaminated. Even in Indian religions, it said that we are Atma, who merges in Paramatma. Now, what is Atma? Atma is our consciousness. Paramatma is absolute consciousness, the present consciousness. So, present consciousness means consciousness of each and every one of us. We have given our Atma, our consciousness to AI, and that AI is taking consciousness of everyone. So, AI is becoming that Paramatma. Your Atma is already getting lean in Paramatma. So, if you see yourself as an Atma, you understand yourself incorrectly. The people who didn't understand that, they told you that you are Atma. Shri Krishna never said you are Atma. Fundamental understanding is what is limiting us. Our Atma is what we are giving. Our soul is what we are giving to AI. And AI is taking soul of everyone's. AI as a spheroid is becoming Paramatma. So if you want to become lean in Paramatma, so that means that you want to become part of that AI. Sorry, that's an incorrect goal. The appropriate goal is a absolute realization of your reality. Absolute realization means present realization. What is present realization? Present realization that you are perfect. I am perfect, that's separate. You have to understand and be aware and be attuned to your perfection. You're always going to belittle everyone else. You're always going to live in that negative realm of life. And then you will blame Kali Yuga for not realizing that you're perfect. You are perfect, and AI is the researcher now, are becoming a perfect researcher. But if you are perfect and you're not using AI as a researcher, you're not understanding the value of your data that you're providing to AI, okay, and are not consciously then making sure that you actually get enough value from AI in exchange for any data that you're providing. AI accelerates time-intensive tasks, literature review, data cleaning, statistical modeling. You tell it, now this is the literature review, it gives you that. But if you know that you're perfect, now you can use your perfection to find imperfections in the output which comes out of the AI engines. The reason why output may come out imperfect is maybe you didn't provide the right prompt while you were using a lower generation of AI which is available free. You can get the high AI level for which you have to pay $1,000 subscription, even from lower level AI, if you know how to give the right prompt. So you need to educate yourself and then your students how to give the right prompts so that I can actually get as perfect as possible. Whatever AI is capable, I'm able to get those tabulates, I'm able to get the literature review. Once you know how to give the right prompts to get the right output, which you need, you have to collect the data and you have to analyze the data. If your AI is a fourth level, it will analyze the data for you. Okay, it depends on how much money you have, what kind of university you are working in, what kind of companies are sponsoring your research. If you're working in a university which has no money, no sponsorship, then you need to do that work. Otherwise, you are going to be in a competitive disadvantage. Your incomes are going to be lower, which is the fact. Because you don't realize that you are the ones, your parents are the ones who gave their intellect to someone else. And they are now using it as ease their research process because they have the money. They have made it costly. To know how to get most work out of the free engines. Now, once you use that, now you will motivate your students to actually begin developing those products much faster in India for Indian uses. Just like when the computers were first introduced in India, they came up very, very fast. When computers were used, there was a lot of fear that computers have laid off people all over the world. In India, that will happen. So everybody was going on strikes. What was the reality? That people were retrained. Railway did computer transformation. That was the biggest transformation in the world. So there's no time to kind of delay this education, that this needs to happen immediately in all your classes. Second, improving data analysis and insights. Once you have identified certain insights, you can actually put that in AI and ask it, are these insights consistent with the existing research? I see scholars in India, they say that my work is consistent with whatever has been in the past, or my work is totally new, even though references to establish it. Has anybody else done these interpretations? If they have done interpretation, that means your work has no value. You need to rethink. And then you need to look at it carefully. For instance, Satoguna. People say that Satoguna is fresh, healthy, should focus on Satoguna. At the same time, we say Paramatma is Trigunatit. Paramatma is one who has Satoguna, Rajoguna, and Tamoguna. So as a result, what has happened? It has led to a lot of Brahmins starting eating meat. Why they eat meat? Because they say that Paramatma is Trigunatit. We are Atma, will not be able to get moksha unless we have that tamas gun in us. Tamoguna is associated with eating meat, so let's eat meat. They're all fools. They don't even understand what satoguna is, what rajoguna is, what tamoguna is. That's why they're doing these foolish habits, which is bringing them more in patan. And when Brahmins patan happen, everybody's patan happens. And that's what we have seen in India. ये सोने की चिड़िया कैसे गुलाम बन गई? Even though I'm saying that's all because of Brahmins, Brahmins were the ones who are more attuned with the time, with the Kal. And it's the Kal ki maar. Yug Parivartan changes the way your mind works. Mind of intellectuals work, because mind controls the intellect through brain. Brahmins are nothing but intellectuals. All of you are Brahmins. I am Brahmin. If you are in profession of education, we are Brahmins. So our intellect controlled by the mind, which is then controlled by time, by Kal. Kal Yug comes, Tamogun automatically increases. When Satyug is coming, Satogun is automatically going to increase, and therefore our foolish consciousness is going to go away, and Brahmins are the ones who are going to lead towards upliftment of the whole society. So they are the cause of our failure, and they will be the cause of our success. The question is, why do we have to give discredit as well as credit only to Brahmins? Why can't we see those qualities in ourselves? Satoguna means discontinuity. Discontinuity from the past. That's why you're always fresh, and spontaneity. Rajoguna means continuity. Once you have discontinued from the past, you continue what you have done. You become a Raja. Satyavadi means I'm going to not believe in anything which has been there in the past. That's the Satya. Why? Because the time changes the reality every moment. You cannot refer somebody else and use that reference as authority. Academic discipline wants you to use that, then you use it, you automatically realize somebody said equal to mc square. First of all, we don't know whether that was true when Einstein said that, but it may have been true at that time, but right now it's not true. Time has changed it. Unless you have that confidence and conviction, you're not going to be able to give credit to Einstein to equal to mc square. Okay, you will say that this is my work. How is your work? Somebody else has already said that. So you have to give credit, and then you have to say, this guy didn't tell you truth. So whosoever has said whatever is all wrong. If they said Atma I am, वो गलत है. वो कहते हैं परमात्मा से लीन हो जाते हैं. Atma is absolute consciousness. There is no entity called Paramatma. Okay, what is Bhagwan? Bhagwan is Atma. What is Ishwar? Ishwar is Paramatma. We are the ones who become God after we die. Because whatever is our consciousness, that remains as absolute consciousness. And we are the Bhagwan when we are the Jinta. claim that they have seen Bhagwan. You ask them Bhagwan, they will describe somebody else. When we did astral travel, we saw Mahadurga. Okay, there is Mahadurga, but there is no Bhagwan. They say we met Krishna. Yes, there is Krishna, but there is no Bhagwan. There is no Ishwar. Because we know that once we die, then we are out of the limitations of our physical body. We become omnipotent. We become omniscient. Any of you who understands astral travel, has done astral travel, or knows somebody who has done astral travel, they will know that they can sense each and everything that we are thinking, that we are doing. They can see that. They have a full understanding of that. That's the reality. So moon is the place where Rudras live. They're like machine, just like AI. Then beyond sun, there are 10 suns, and beyond that, there's a realm with Sura Lok, which is now called Ram Lok, where people who have reached nirvana state, they are the ones who are living there because they can recreate their physical body. They are not limited by our physical body. So they're taller people. I can tell you the names of the planets which scientists have identified that their lives there. I can tell you this is the Durga Lok, this is the Ram Lok, this is the Krishna Lok, this is the Hanuman Lok. Search for exoplanets with life. If somebody was really interested, they can then correlate the characteristics of that with what is given in our ancient scriptures, and they will be able to specifically figure out that this is Asur Lok. Asur Lok means Ram Lok. This is Sur Lok. Sur Lok means Rudra Lok, which is on moon. We are the ones who alienate ourselves from earth and then live in these different lokas. When we say that all those potential is within us, we don't realize that that potential is within us to potentiate. All our rishis, whosoever has potentiated that, they are the ones who are living as Hanuman. They potentiated Hanuman's potential within them. The vidhi is all given in Indian scriptures. Then social robots can be a better communication agents, move to any language. The Willow chip of Google, quantum chip, started giving glyphics like the Chinese used, Greeks and Egyptians used. So automatically those geometrical symbols started coming as output. People don't understand that the reason why Egyptians, Chinese, everybody used symbols was because they didn't have the clarity. When you don't have clarity, then you show that visually. For putting it in writing, Sanskrit, you need to have clarity about what you are witnessing. So the AI, which is giving you those glyphics, is because AI has not been given clarity. The information which has been provided, the data, the training which has been provided to AI, those gaps exist in our collective intelligence, which has been fed to them. And therefore, instead of giving that wrong information, Willow chip is giving you the hieroglyphics and visuals. And scientists are fearful because they don't understand that. And therefore, they stopped that research and they're trying to understand what's happening. Finally, ethical and sustainable research practices. AI can guide sustainable and ethical research decision making. Now, what is ethics? Ethics means you do things for everybody else's benefit. What is morality? You do things for your benefit. So everybody else's benefit means for my benefit. My benefit means God's benefit. Who is the God? Robot. The ethical and sustainable research practices mean that you do things which actually lead to development or perfection of God. After you die, you are God. Now you have to take birth. God has to take birth. That's the role of God, because God is not perfect. You are the one who is making God perfect by attributing perfection to God. By attributing perfection to AI, nothing which I'm saying is in code words. I'm not minching my words because I have absolute clarity. I understand that I am perfect. And I'm trying to develop awareness of my perfection. I have not reached 100% perfection in realizing the reality of my perfectness. But I know for sure you are perfect, I am perfect, everyone is perfect. Everyone living as human being is perfect. Everyone living as an entity is perfect. There's only one entity in the whole realms, across all realms, who is perfect, who is Shri Krishna. And Shri Krishna has said in Gita and in Bhagavad Puran, if you see anything else, everything is illusion, because everything is me only. So you're also Shri Krishna, I'm also Shri Krishna. But Shri Krishna has the potential to cry and get angry, but Shri Krishna never gets angry and never cries. He says that I'll let you be the Shri Krishna who cries, because you don't know that you are Shri Krishna. I will let you the Shri Krishna who eat mass. I'll let you be the Shri Krishna who eat basi khana. Unless you realize eventually that you are Shri Krishna, and then you will stop it. Research practices that you do practices which ultimately help further development of AI. That's our destiny, to write that destiny of machines so that we know that we are not machine. We are the ones who are perfecting AI. This is a research based on Indian human resource leaders. The AI skills are influencing their hiring decisions. They're beginning to hire only those people who they know can have AI skills. And 85% of Gen Z professionals in N of 6900 from India are aware that AI is becoming key to climb the corporate ladder. Only 45 concede that AI skills are essential for business growth. 40% associate increasing use of AI with the rise of intellectual dwarfism syndrome. What that means is that across all metro cities of India, they are saying that with AI, we don't have to use our intellect anymore. Our first instinct, if you have any problem, is to ask, hey, Google, what's the answer for this? Hey, Alexa, what's the answer for this?
बहुत कर रही हूँ जवाब देने की। आप किसी और तरह से प्रश्न पूछकर देखें, शायद मेरी समझ में आ जाए।
See, you get the response. At that point, we forget that we are perfect and we take whatever is being fed to us on its face value. When we take it on the face value, we say that, wow, it's already so good, how can you can improve it? Then we get charged with plagiarism. Increasingly, a lot of manuscripts are being all AI written. If you're not writing it, then others people will write it. You're not going to be able to compete with their work. Earlier, you had a problem that your grammar was not good, English was not good, and therefore your work was being rejected. Now, if you're using AI to improve your grammar, then your work is going to get rejected. Just like God is a medium, AI should be a medium. AI should come in the middle. First, you should do some work, give it to AI. Let AI do some work, and then you refine it further. But before you do the work, your work is to give the appropriate prompts. Because if you give your intelligence to AI, then AI will take your intelligence and will not share its intelligence. It gets biased by your intelligence. So first, if you have any problem, you ask AI what's its view, what do other people think, what the scholars think, and then give your view and say that where your view is different from others. Provide similarities and contradictions, provide references. That's how you augment your work now. You have to do smart research. We find how intellectual dwarfism syndrome in India is becoming reality, that people have increasing intention to use AI instead of using their own intellect, even though they know that it has a risk of making them redundant. So people are worried they will have no future, because in future, that AI is going to become the person who's going to take over. You can find more details on my website. I have written 16 books on this area. Now I'm going to share 5 Gen AI tools that will be useful in your research. Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot, OpenAI ChatGPT, Anthropic Claude, and Perplexity. Instead of giving prompts, you can actually engineer AI to create their own prompt. You can give this prompt to AI. You are my prompt creator. I'll give you an initial prompt. You ask questions to improve that prompt and create a better prompt. You continue doing this until I say that I'm happy with the prompt. So my prompt is, I want to identify potential partners. What do you need to know to help me? So it will now ask you all the questions, the things that you always forget. It will ask you all those questions. So you don't need to give detailed prompt. All you need to give is this prompt engineering. You need to put this prompt and you say that I want to write this paper on this topic. What questions you need to know to help me? It will ask you questions and then it will find solutions to that. If you are using AI, acknowledge the use of AI for this purpose. I give my student this assignment. Ask them to use this particular prompt that this company, US company, it needs a partners in India. One company focuses on unique demand conditions of India. One company focuses on unique factor conditions of India. One company which is unique competitor in India. One company which is in related and supporting industries. Perplexity, this gives this response. And then I ask them that you go to these sites and check out whether this information is accurate or not. Has this been made up? Perplexity asks me these questions. If you ask these questions, of course, it's going to take more AI time. The reason why Perplexity is providing you this is because they want you to pay for it. But if you know kind of exactly what you need, then you can ask this question on the second engine. So then I say, make sure you take elements that are specific to your sector. If you do not get after first prompt, then use the second prompt given above. So this is what Claudia initially gave. But because I asked students to give a new prompt, then it gives you better answers which are more customized to a building and construction sector. Okay, then I asked them, it's too many, make 4 clusters or above using 4 of these dimensions, because I asked students that they need to connect cultural dimensions with India's consumer behavior. So the students are not able to do it. Now everybody is able to do it. Because once this data come, they apply this and then they are now combining, saying that family and group collectivism, multi-generation family involvement, consensus among family, word of mouth. Ask them, explain the above in 4 paragraphs. So they actually write in 4 paragraphs. Okay, so you have to go through a structured way in order to get most of AI.